Okay. There we go. Okay, call the meeting to order.
I'll call the meeting to order, and we will have the roll call. Mr. Genowine? Here. Mr. Haddad?
Here.
Simcoe, here. And next, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And next on our meeting, on our agenda is reorganization of the board. Are we going to proceed with that, or are we going to defer that till future meeting?
That's where we would like to determine that. I think we're going to defer that till we get a third member on the board.
Okay, very good. And
If I might at this point interrupt for just 1 second, there's two things I'd like to bring up. Is that we were in executive session to discuss personnel matters for the fire department. At this point, I'd like to make a recommendation to the board to appoint Jeff Kowalski, acting fire chief, as our regular full-time fire chief. Jeff is here if you'd like to say a few words. And then there's another item on the agenda, number 5, I'd also like to move up till after that, and that's letters of accommodation that hopefully our new chief will be talking about for some of those firefighters. So at this point, I'd like to make a recommendation to the board to appoint acting chief Jeff Kowalski to fire chief.
Do we have a resolution for that?
11001.
001.
Let's offer resolution 001, promotion of Jeff Kowalski to fire chief.
effective
Today.
second?
Second.
Is there any discussion or vote on that?
Yes, I want to have some discussion real quick. I'd like to say that in the interim that Jeff has taken over the fire department, the morale, the work ethic, the actual ability of him to manage this department is beyond our expectations of what we expect of a chief. And I really want to give him a commendation because he will be an excellent chief for our community. So thank you very much for doing the interim work, and we hope you do well for us for the future.
I just wanted to thank you for your years of service and look forward to working with you in the future. And I'm confident in our choice here and think you're going to do a great job.
Yes, thank you, sir.
All right.
I'll call the roll. Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
I'd like the chief to just make a few words and then...
Yes, you may.
If I may have your indulgence for just a second, it's traditional in the fire service for the wife or significant other, the person being promoted, to pin the badge. I would like my wife to do that now.
We'd like her to, too. Where's she at? Here, come on.
Bring a badge, I brought one. I just happen to have one. Take the old one off.
How's your training?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Don't revive me.
Thanks.
Hey, congratulations. Okay.
Before I get into the accommodations, I would just like to thank the Board of Trustees for all their support and kind words of encouragement. I plan on making this a better place for our employees to work and a safe place for our employees to work, as well as making this community a safe place to work, live, and play. And I do believe that with the help from the board and the help from the guys on the line, that we can do that, and the future is bright for Sylvania. So I do appreciate that.
Before you start
Yes, sir.
the recommendations, I'd like to have Steve come up and say a few words.
Oh, I get to sit down? Great, thanks.
Chief Kowalski, the fellows from B-Shift went in on a special gift for you. We just thought it'd be fitting that you were promoted to chief on B-Shift, because we know this is where your home came from, this is where your heart is on this ship. We know a couple things from B-Shift. We know, number one, we respect you and you respect us. I think that comes from all the guys in the department, and we know that you're going to keep us safe. And we appreciate that, and from our hearts, congratulations.
Open it up. That's it.
Duck, everybody.
I was going to say, it's not one of those rope things. No. Wow. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Looks great on your desk.
Thank you. As I said, before I get into the accommodations, I would just like to thank my family, my wife of 35 years. As I tell everybody, anybody that can put up with me for 35 years is indeed a saint and deserves to go right to heaven without stop. My family and my mom, who today is her birthday. So hopefully, Mom, that's a nice birthday present for you, is getting promoted. As my first act as fire chief, I would like to bring up individuals of our department that have gone above and beyond the call of duty. I would like to bring up Sean Whitcott, paramedic firefighter Sean Whitcott, paramedic firefighter Marcus Sauter, paramedic firefighter Jason Hostler, paramedic firefighter Craig Kapersky, paramedic firefighter Todd Walters, Lieutenant Ralph DeShetler, Greg Wilcox, and Jim Thompson. On the morning of October 29th, 2010, thanks, John, Sylvania Township Fire Units, Engine 1, Truck 3, and Life Squad 6 were dispatched to a report of an unconscious person on a roof. Upon arrival, Engine 1 and Life Squad 6 rescuers observed a person lying on the roof of a single-story home with a Sylvania City police officer and civilian performing CPR. Fire department personnel proceeded to the roof, where they assisted with CPR and administered advanced life support care, which included starting 2 IVs, giving the patient cardiac medications in an attempt to stabilize the heart, intubating the patient to assist with their breathing, and monitoring the patient's cardiac status using an EKG machine. When Truck 3 arrived, the crew went into action and assembled the equipment necessary to extricate or remove the patient from the roof. Utilizing ropes, backboards, Stokes basket, and a ladder, they were able to safely bring the patient down and place them in the Life Squad for transport to the hospital. These individuals standing before you worked as a team, utilizing their skills and talents learned in training sessions to help a member of our community. Although incidents of cardiac arrest are common in the fire department, this particular one was challenging to the firefighters in the fact that they had to not only deal with the medical issue, they also had to fabricate an extrication system to safely remove the patient from the roof. Their actions exemplify the true dedication and outstanding professionalism that is keeping up with the highest tradition of the Sylvania Township Fire Department. We'd like to give you letters of commendation for a job well done. Craig Kapersky. Nice job. Marcus Sauter. The acting lieutenant on the engine that day, Sean Whittop. Sean? Jason Hostler. Nice job, Jason. Thank you. James Thompson. Lieutenant Ralph Schiller. And Greg Wilcox. These gentlemen are what it's all about. They make the department what it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. Nice job. And we're very proud of you guys. We know you work hard for our community every day, and we really appreciate the work you do. Without you, we'd be in a mess out here. Have a lot of fires. So thanks for all your hard work.
The next item on the agenda is set the meeting schedules for 2011, if the board would like to comment
Yes.
on that and set a schedule.
We decided to keep the same schedule, I think, for this year.
So that'll be the first and third
Tuesdays.
Tuesday of the month, with the first Tuesday being held at 4 o'clock,
4 o'clock,
and the second Tuesday will be at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Except on election day.
Right.
Yes.
We'll move ahead one day.
We'll do a resolution on that, yes.
That is probably it. We move to the next day on election
Resolution.
day. Yes, make it clear, yes.
So I move that we approve resolution number 2 to set the meeting schedule at the same time that we have now, 4 o'clock on the first Tuesday, 7 o'clock on the second Tuesday. Day ahead on election day.
John?
Second.
Call the roll of Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Next item is discuss board appointments. As you're aware, the board makes various appointments in the first meeting of the year to various organizations.
Right
And
back in the office.
at this point, I'd open up for discussion for the board.
I left my schedule back there. I don't want to get here. Go ahead.
Do we just want to go down?
Yeah, we have to reappoint someone to Yard, which is Sylvania Area Joint Recreation District. We had some applications. Right now, our sitting person who's off the board this year is Baron Black, who requested to be on for one last term. I said we would discuss it in this meeting tonight, so it'd be up to the trustees to discuss that and decide if we want to put him back on. Because they're in the midst of building the new skateboard park, and he said he'd like to see that completed, but what do you guys want to do?
Kevin, you're on that board, and if he's doing a good job, I've got no...
He's doing a fine job, and this is his last term. He said he doesn't want any more reappointments after this year.
Okay,
This will be his last 3-year term.
okay.
So if you're in agreement with that, I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
So we'll reappoint him back to the Yard Board, Baron Black, for his final term. I'm the representative from the Township Trustees. You wanted that one, or you want to leave me there suffering?
I can take on that one if you...
Okay, good. I will let you do that one this year.
Okay.
Second and fourth Tuesdays. Second Tuesday is the Tam O'Shanter Board meeting at 7 a.m. And then 7:30 is the fourth Tuesday for the whole Yard Board. Okay? And then we have TMACOG, which Carol was our representative of that board, and we need to put a representative on that board again.
Are you eligible to be on
I
board?
think I can.
You want to take that?
I wouldn't mind being on one or two of them.
Do you want to take that one, or you want me to be the TMACOG one?
I'll do Team Cog.
Okay, because there's a lot of meetings, though. That's up to you, though.
Yeah, why don't you do Team Cog?
All right. I guess I'll be stuck doing TMACOG. I'll do that one. Yeah. Senior centers? Yeah, that would be good for you.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, well, let's go down the list. The chamber,
CIC either. I've done motion before both of them.
I wasn't on the chamber board. I don't know how I got my name here. I was on the CIC board, taking over her spot there because she never went, so. What do you want to do about CIC?
I'm willing to do the CIC and the senior board. And I've been on both of those in the past, and
I know them, you know.
Well, good, that's off our back.
Yeah.
We'll put Dave on those two boards. We got the chamber board.
I'll be on the chamber board.
Okay, you can take over that one. These are only, we'll put, whoever we point to the board will be able to take some of these boards over because it's going to be a lot of work. We have the enterprise negotiating team, which you were on. How often do they meet?
No.
You didn't go?
They never had a
Never
meeting.
met? Oh, well, then I'll take that board. Right now.
Okay.
That's a good one. Tax incentive review board is the same thing down at Government Center. I don't think they met either. We can leave those two kind of blank, and if they call us, we'll go to the meeting, one of us can go. TARDA board is not up till November, or September this year, and Jim Baum's our representative, so we'll be looking for people to replace that seat. EMS advisory board will be the fire chief and one of the two trustees.
You want to
Right
take
now.
that one?
I don't care which one you want. You take it. EMS, they don't mean much.
That's fine, I'll take it.
You want to do that one, or you want me to do it?
I'll take it.
Okay. And then we have 911 board.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met, so.
No. So we don't care if that one, if we have a meeting for 911, we'll go, just let us know. Because we won't appoint anybody to that board right now. They never meet.
Maybe if we appoint Chief Kowalski.
You want to go to that one in case? Okay. Or you can send John Lee, whichever you want to do. And then we have county CIC, and they only meet once a year, but you're on that board for 2 years.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Do you have all those down, Mrs. Woods?
Unless I missed something at the beginning. Was the first one
With Sage.
Sajard
Yeah, Rick Baron Black was on there.
and John?
Yes.
Tina Todd, Kevin, Senior Center, Simcoe, Chamber, John.
Simcoe is, I'm not chamber. Did you say chamber?
No.
Sim-
Chamber's
Simcoe,
John.
Senior Center.
Senior center, yeah.
John is
And
Chamber.
CIC.
Right.
In CIC, you got all those?
Simcoe, CIC.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin's Enterprise and Negotiating.
Mm-hmm.
Tax Incentive, we're just going to leave open.
Well, I'll go if they have a meeting, but there's not much to do on that one. He said they never meet either. So.
EMS is the Fire Chief, and Mr. Genowine. 911 is the Chief. And Lucas County CIC is Mr.
Still John, it's a 2-year term. Okay? That takes care of board appointments.
Okay, next item is the discuss funding request for 2011. And I think the trustees have the request or spreadsheet.
We do.
And once again, you can discuss it now, or you do not have to make a final recommendation at this point.
Do we, I would probably prefer to defer this one. Just, I think last time we asked them to come in and give presentations to
Correct.
what they plan on doing. So maybe if we could schedule those for our next meeting, we could make the,
That's a good idea.
yeah.
Okay.
So we'll have them all come in, make a presentation next meeting, and then we can make a decision on how much we're going to give them.
And then back to Mr. Simcoe for
Approval of the minutes?
approval of the minutes.
I think I had emailed to the board members meeting minutes for our November regular meetings as well as the first meeting in December with some slight additions to those meeting minutes. And I don't know if you've each had a chance to look at them. I'd like to get them approved just because they're November and the first December meeting. If you've had a chance to look at them and if they're okay with you, then I'd ask you to approve those minutes.
They were okay with me, I looked at them.
They
Did
were
you see 'em?
fine, yep,
Okay.
short and
Do you
sweet.
have a list of the dates?
I believe it is, yes, I think I do. It's November, I believe November 3rd, November 16th, and December 7th. And I will have the last set for December done for our next meeting.
Then the minutes will stand approved as submitted.
Yes.
Okay, any additions or deletions to the?
Yes, I have one addition to the agenda. We have a appropriation resolution under fiscal that will be added on. Oh, and I have one under administration for the settlement of a grievance within the police department.
Okay.
At this point, did we have any people
Hearing of the
sign?
public.
Nothing, Susan.
Did anybody sign in to speak?
No one?
No one signed
No.
in, okay. At this point,
Go to
Zoning.
zoning department.
do you have any report at this point?
Where are we, what do you want to do about your appointments for the boards? Because we're shy?
Tim, why don't you come up here?
I thought we could go through and possibly interview the potential candidates. I think we've got 11 or 12. And then you can make a decision at the next meeting.
So you want them at the next meeting, then have them all come in and be interviewed? That sounds good to us.
I'm going to have some other things for you at the next meeting also.
Okay.
At our last meeting, we asked you to look into the windmill farm. Have you found out anything? There's still quite the hot topic in the township, so can you just give us an update as to what you found so far? And
Just that essentially the windmill that is being proposed is going to be considerably larger than anything that we have in this county.
I think it's 175 feet high?
I think it's even,
500 feet high?
I heard it was over 400 feet.
Okay. Oh,
So-
from tip to tip, that's right.
There are a number of those already in place up on Lake Huron, above Detroit. And they've had some problems with them up there in regards to noise.
Well, I heard that when they said if there was 50 up there, it would be about 37 to 38 decibels. 100 is like 60 decibels, but 200, what they're proposing, is like over 90 decibels, so it's going to sound like a constant humming going.
Yeah, something like
I mean,
that.
you're going to hear it for 2 miles, 3 miles away minimum.
do they have any sites picked out, or?
Not that I know of. I think they're talking about some sites up there, but there's 2 or 3 farms that are being considered.
Yeah, I knew they were proposing to some of the farmers at least part of their properties to do it, and they had a big discussion about it at the zoning meeting, but they never went to the board yet.
So how far along the process are they?
I would guess they would have to,
Normally, we don't do that. We were going to do that under hearing of the public on the end, or you could have brought it up in the beginning under hearing of the public on the agenda item. Oh, did you?
Well, this is for non-agenda items.
Okay.
We don't have an agenda.
Well, that's okay. I'll tell you, the agenda's up on the board. I'm sorry, and I'm
That's
trying to
an
make...
agenda?
Yeah.
Who can read that, Kevin?
Let me see if I can expand it for you. I'm trying to figure this out yet. I know we had a thing to enlarge it.
Available on the website, too.
Yeah, but that wasn't public record. Yeah, it wasn't, I wasn't told, we either did it this way, or we did it with the written. Don't give me that.
Well, since there's some confusion here, why don't we open it up to the public now? And
Yes.
if you guys have some comments, I'm assuming one of you is Joshua?
This is Josh.
Okay.
You're not Chris?
Okay. Come on up to the mic and
I can't get the...
we'll get this corrected
How do I blow it
in terms of the
How do I
agenda.
expand it? No, we
Okay.
could.
Yes. Please introduce yourselves and list
State
your
your name,
and
addresses, yeah.
Okay. My name is Joshua Nolan. I'm at 6140 Sunny Lake Court in Sylvania, Ohio.
What is your last name?
Nolan, N-O-L-A-N.
Nolan. He's the one who sent me the emails, and John.
My name is Chris, and I'll spell the last name. It's W-H-O-L-E-H-A-N, Holohan. I'm at 5962 Secluded Court. Ironically, we're both in the Edgewater Place subdivision off of Sylvania Metamora Road. Both Josh and I, actually, we just kind of got introduced sitting here.
Moments ago, yeah.
Moments ago. We've both been up to the Riga Township meetings. Josh was at one last night, and we were both at one back in December. And we've got a lot of literature and a lot of information on these turbines, as they're being called, that are going in just over the state line in Riga Township. It's not one, it's 100.
Yeah.
And they're about 500 feet tall. And they're looking to put them all along the state border. And basically all of the homes, Edgewater Place, 12 Lakes, Cobblestones, all of those subdivisions are essentially going to be staring at a 500-foot tall, or multiple 500-foot tall turbines in their backyard. And obviously our concern is that our property values are already declining as it is. You put up multiple 500-foot tall turbines in our backyard that we're going to have to listen to and look at, those property values are going to plummet. And our questions are, what does the township do to help protect us, not only our own property values, but then you also have decreased tax revenue from a decreased property value standpoint. And so the township hurts fiscally because this is happening just over the border. And so we're trying to figure out what we can do to get some involvement from the township and help back us up.
And to clarify what's going on in the status in Riga right now, Riga's Planning Commission did not have anything to address structures of this size. They didn't allow anything over 50 feet. So they have to prepare a zoning ordinance to address wind turbines, both home use for farmers and industrial. And they're in the process of creating that proposed ordinance right now, which then gets reviewed by the County Planning Commission in Michigan and then comes back down to their township board to be voted on. Right now they're creating that proposed ordinance. They've went through and prepared the main nuts and bolts of it, which are really the setbacks, how far these giant machines have to be from residential structures, the noise limits that they would allow them to create, and another issue called shadow flicker, which is essentially as the sun begins to drop and these blades are going along, it creates a strobe light effect upon people's houses and into their homes. And what they've done is Riga has proposed a 2,600 approximately foot setback for residential structures, so about a half a mile. 40 decibels at the property line is the maximum that they would allow these wind turbines to make. And because there's, according to the gentleman in Riga, there are technology available to prevent shadow flicker at all, that it can sense when shadow flicker is occurring and stop the turbine for the however many moments it takes before that phenomenon ends. At last night's meeting, the two wind developers in Riga Township, which are UV, which is actually spelled J-U-W-I, and Exelon, stood up and protested and said, we believe your setbacks are too far, we want them half that. We want it 1,300 feet away. They believe that the noise ordinance that is being proposed is too restrictive. They want it at 45 decibels and not at the property line, but at the house window. So you're then restricted from using whatever yard you have for whatever purpose you would like to use it. And they did not care for the zero shadow flicker restriction. They want it to be permitted to, produce 30 hours a year of shadow flicker onto people's homes and in their houses.
What did the zoning board say?
At that point, the zoning board indicated that they didn't think that they would be changing the main nuts and bolts of what they put into it. They would consider changing the proposed ordinance as far as the way that it flowed, because the developers complained that they would be required to spend $300,000 on environmental impact studies before they could even put up a $20,000 meteorological tower to determine whether or not the wind is even appropriate for this type of development here. So they seem to be agreeable to change on that topic and not so agreeable to change on the main nuts and bolts, on the setbacks. But they also did voice at the end that it's still the board's right to change its mind. And at the stage that it's at, this is still just a proposed ordinance from the zoning commission. The township board could, in its discretion, reduce those setbacks, allow a greater amount of noise, allow a greater amount of shadow flicker. And so that's why I really feel it's important that we get involved now and attempt to shape this before it gets too far along and we're staring at these 500-foot, 493-foot giants. I mean, there's not a building in downtown Toledo that's 493 feet tall, let alone 100 of them.
If you've been down to the Bowling Green area where those windmills
Oh, yeah.
are, these are twice that size.
Yeah, I heard how
Literally
big
twice
they are.
that size. I mean, they're
It could also impact the airport up there too, and landings.
oh yeah, it's tremendous. It's incredible. And I guess our point is, we're all sitting here in Sylvania Township, basically in the shadow of these things, and we really probably, like Josh said, we got to get involved now to have some impact on it, and not just let them, just because there's a state line and a state border, and that's kind of why we're coming to you guys for help, to be sitting here with all of our neighbors, all of those neighborhoods up and down Sylvania Met, all of a sudden have their property values just wiped out because of this.
And there's actually a letter to the editor, I think it was in the Blissfield Advance, from a real estate appraiser in Chicago, of all places, who submitted a letter that property values around these types of wind farms are dropping 20 to 45%.
Yeah.
And that there's one in Canada where there are 12 homes that have just been abandoned. People have just walked away. They can't sell them, and they can't live in them anymore because of the noise that it creates. It's a constant thump, 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 and it just...
It's a big whooshing sound all the
Yes.
time.
Well, I know the township was pretty instrumental in blocking a hazardous dump that was going to be
Exactly.
placed up in Riga many years ago. So, Tim, I'm going to ask you to keep digging into this and to stay on top of it and to keep us informed and as things go and let us know what our options are. I mean, I think we're kind of handcuffed a little bit being in another state
Yes.
and things, but certainly we're a big enough jurisdiction that we can kind of let our views be known and see what we can do.
Well, like you said, you were instrumental before in that other issue, and so if we did it once, we can do it again.
And my brother worked really hard with Riga Township about the dump. That was his big thing back then because it was going to be in his backyard practically.
Uh-huh.
So.
Thanks for bringing it to our attention,
Yes.
and we will try to stay on top of it. And Tim, I think, will be your point man there.
And if we need any
We'll
action
introduce
from us, we'll go up there and
ourselves.
take care of it for you. All right,
Thank
so
you very
let's
much.
keep it posted on the meetings and stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it might be something, that we need to talk to legal counsel about also, in regards to what powers we have, what options we do have. And I would think also that the state of Michigan probably would take an interest in this too. I have a call into the Cooperative Extension out of Michigan State University to the land use department up there to see if I can get any information from them on that. So
EPA, did you talk to anybody at the EPA?
Not yet.
possibly, sooner or later, they're going to get involved in it.
Yeah, because there's going to be an environmental impact on it.
Well, it might be good to see what the township did on the Rega, it may be somewhat patterned after that.
I'll call Keith.
Yeah, call Keith, and we may have some
He's got all that
historical
information and
archives here
documents.
that what we were really doing, if we could review our files on that, on the dump situation. And then the other person maybe to contact might be the Ohio Attorney General and see if they have any interest in this, because this seems like, a cross-state border issue and that.
Yeah.
And so, in talking to our legal counsel, just to see where we stand. Part of it's lobbying and all that stuff probably, but some of it's what legal rights do we have, and that too, what legal action could be taken. And check with maybe the Ohio Attorney General's office and see if they've been involved in this sort of thing.
I think it's difficult to be against alternative energy and wind power and things, but when you're staring at a 500-foot tall structure that is humming 24 hours a day,
In your backyard.
yeah, I think we need to work on that a little bit.
I think the landfill or the radioactive landfill that was being proposed a few years ago was a federal initiative, and that provided for a little more control over and restrictions of that action. This is a little different
It's
twist.
a little different, but we maybe ought to take a look at what we did the last time, and, it might be somewhat instructive if we had legal counsel at the time, there's a file we had.
They had a group that was formed and they had legal counsel that went to the meetings on it.
I mean, it might have been, it may have been private, it may not have surely been our legal counsel.
No, it was
but
private.
They retained counsel, someone did that group, and that might be something that neighbors can look at too.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Nope. Public Works?
Greg?
Good afternoon. The monthly report for December 2010 has been submitted for your review. Just a few highlights. The sanitary sewer project number 170 at Wilford Road in Blassman is well underway. There was some debate of allowing the contractor to saw cut Blassman Road. Blassman Road was resurfaced 2 years ago, so on behalf of the county engineers, we denied that request and forcing them to directional drill under the road.
Yeah.
Salt brine operations are well underway. Leaf pickup, one of our best leaf pickups that we've had in quite a while, and no doubt the weather played a major role in that. Other information posted, for your review, but pretty much December was consumed with leaf pickup and salt brine operations. So, pending your questions, I'll move on to the next item. Okay. The next item is the 2010 infrastructure repair report. I'm very pleased to report to the board that we've had another good year in regards to maintaining and safeguarding our infrastructure system for the township. Just a few highlights. Basin repair, 89 basin repairs, 434 feet of curb repair, numerous concrete road patches and such. Ditch improvements again occurred. Hill ditch, mid-truck ditch, which is over by the Westgate Chapel area, and again Smith ditch. We continued our efforts in Smith ditch up to McCord Road, so the area between McCord Road to I-475 is clear with Smith and Hill ditch. Those two ditches actually hold or allow a lot of water passage from the St. James, the Carytown subdivisions, all the way to Hessler Gradwall Road. A lot of water flows through those areas. Again, crack seal roadways. Our Public Works Commission distributions were pushing $4.9 million now. That's what we've received in state grants. With the other grants that we will receive next year, we will be well above $5 million. Road resurfacing, we resurfaced over 5 miles of roadway, 5.2, and the emulsified seal coat is just over 3 miles. So with a cumulative effort of 8.25 miles of roadway, I think we're doing pretty well, all things considered. Again, there's some detailed information in there as far as specifics and such. Pending your questions, I'll move on to the next item.
As my Christmas tree sits at the curb, that started today, or?
Yes, actually started yesterday, yes.
I didn't see any of the neighbors out, so I started to think, well, maybe it doesn't start till next week or something, okay.
Right.
Did you make a couple of different passes, Greg, on Christmas trees, or is if you don't have it out there tomorrow and you're going by, are you out of luck?
I envision we'll actually have 2 passes for the Christmas tree pickup.
And you started today, and when do you think you'll finish the first one, and when will the second one start? What's your guess on that?
With 22 years experience, Public Works Manager at Sylvania Township, I know better than to answer that question. It's all dependent on weather, and I'm sorry, Dave. Yeah.
Well, I put mine out one year in in March, because I was waiting for you.
I was waiting for that one.
And you didn't show us in the spring.
Yes. I remember that year, Dave.
And you kept ignoring my calls.
No. It requires about at least 2 weeks for one cycle, at least. And that's without any snow plow interruptions.
That's good.
You know,
That's
so-
what I think most people are. It gives them an idea.
And we have no snow coming for the next week, so we're good weather.
Yes, right. The next item I have for the board's review and for their knowledge, this is the 2010 bridge inspection report. By state law, the county engineers are obligated to provide this report to all townships. Of the 8 or 9 bridges we have in the township, all of them rank very good or better. For your information, a bridge is actually a span of 10 feet or more. And you'll notice on the report, Blossman Road Bridge, it's actually a dual culvert. We don't have an actual bridge span on the on Blossman Road, but it'd be the next one down.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. Now, I also want to bring to the board's attention
I
that
found it.
the Stir Bridge, there we go. Stir Bridge is actually slated for a bridge deck resurfacing. That'll be during the summer months. And again, that's maintained, inspected, and administered through the county office by law. And the red check up on the screen for Blossman Road, again, that's actually a dual culvert. The Elmer Drive bridges, those are actually box culverts, replaced, I think 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, those are really nice.
Yes. So, again, just to caveat on to the 2010 infrastructure report, we have a very sound infrastructure system for the township. Pending your questions, I'll move on to my last item, and it's the joint cooperation agreement. This is for the 2010 OPWC project with the county engineers, and their chosen roadway is Whiteford Road. So with the county engineers, Whiteford Road and Sylvania Township's group of residential streets, this will encompass the OPWC packet that we have received notification. We'll receive just over $300,000 grant for that project. That'll be 2012, and this is protocol now that we enter into an agreement.
Do we have something to sign for that?
Yes, we have a resolution.
Actually, resolution, we probably need someone to...
Or number 4, or is it 3?
I have number 5. It's Resolution 11-005. I recommend that for passage to the board.
You have a motion, move it?
Resolution?
Resolution.
Resolution to accept motion 005, accepting the contract for the joint cooperation agreement for the resurfacing of the roads.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes. And that should be this one here, right? There it is. I found it.
Yes. That's all I have for the board.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. Chief, do you have any other fire department matters? Okay. Police department? Any report? Okay. Under administration, as I said earlier, I have a resolution accepting the settlement worked out between our legal counsel and a officer in the police department. With this settlement, she will drop all grievances, and we will fulfill our part of the settlement. And I think we need, we need some signatures on that.
11003.
3? I'll make it.
Yeah, I'll offer motion 11003 to enter into an agreement with the Patrolmen's Association, or
And the officer.
And the
Officer
officer.
Toth.
That would resolve the grievances and any further action.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
And then under fiscal office, we talked about a resolution there. Jim, do you want to address that?
You don't get to talk?
No. Saying enough.
I just have one resolution I need to get approved, or like to get approved for year ending 2010, and the original appropriation in the Medicare line item under administration was short $42.50, and I can't close the year until that negative amount is gone. So I'd like to offer Resolution 11-006 to increase the appropriation in that Medicare line item.
Offer Resolution 006 to move 4250 into the Medicare line item.
Second, but I want some discussion. That's a lot of money. I'm really nervous about that $42.06.
Well, anything else, Mr. Genowine? Do you have anything to add to that?
No, just teasing. Go ahead.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Do we have any other business to come before the Board of Trustees?
Hearing of the public again, or?
That would be next.
That's
We
next.
don't have anything else.
I think the only thing that we have is that, I think we're all set for the year, just about. We just have to finish up. That people who are applying for the job for Carol's replacement, we'd like them to come to the next meeting, so I'd like that made publicly to introduce themselves, explain why they want to fill the position for the rest of the year, and we can make a decision that night of who we're going to try to pick out for that replacement. If we can, and if not, we'll have to have a special meeting to do that.
We have applications on file. You
Yes, we
will
do.
send a notice out to each one of those individuals requesting them to come to the next trustee meeting.
What do you want to do? I mean, I don't know, that's what I suggest, I don't know.
Yeah. It's all new to all of us, so I'm not exactly sure that would be a good way, but definitely think we'd have to have an executive session after to discuss, and then bring back, like the final
Yes.
candidates to a
Yes.
special meeting. And I mean, I think the way that we filled our administrator position worked out well, and
What, do you want to
kinda
go
like
through that
follow
first and bring the
that
finals?
process a little bit, but
Do you want to do
by
that?
meeting everybody and things, and many of them were familiar faces and names, so I'm pretty comfortable there, but I'm open to, I mean, it's new to us, so.
Have a lot on that.
They can all come to speak at the next
Pardon?
meeting.
You have
I
a
think
lot,
that
if we're gonna interview zoning board applicants, the funding people, it's gonna be.
Bring
Well,
them
we're going to
on.
give them only like 5 minutes to speak. The applicants for the boards, we can see them all who want to show up and give us 2-minute speech of why they want to be on the board, and we can make decisions from there. And 5 minutes for the applicants for Mrs. Contradacy. Does that make sense to you? So that way we're not too long?
We'd have probably close to 2 hours, probably, just so you know.
Yeah,
What do you suggest we do?
Well,
why don't we contact people and
Whatever you
let
think.
them know?
All right.
there's a time deadline that's going along too, which we
Yeah,
gotta
there is.
work with, and,
We have 30 days to appoint the replacement.
right.
26.
One idea could be that
26 now.
each trustee on his own could meet the individuals and then narrow the field down
We can do that too.
Yes,
to
that's what I.
3, and maybe have those 3 come in and.
3 or 5, something
Yeah,
like
instead of
that.
having all of them.
Yes.
So what I'd recommend is that the trustees individually contact the people, and then provide me with a list of your recommendations, and then we'll bring those people in to interview.
That sounds more manageable.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know, I think more. Tim, how many people we have applied for the zoning and the appeals board? 11? So that's going to be an hour in itself, too.
There's
If
11.
we let them all speak.
It's 5 positions that are vacant.
Right,
Why don't we make it a point to get with Tim and review the list, get his input?
that's a good idea.
And then again, we could narrow it down to a manageable number and
About
then
5.
request those.
Well, if we have 5, that's the top 5, and that's it.
Yeah.
We could just do it from there without having to commit, it's up to you.
I mean, I think we'll need to do it at next meeting, but let's get with Tim, get his input, and then he can reach out to the people that we asked to come in and speak at the next meeting,
Sounds
or just
good.
introduce themselves to the public.
Okay.
Okay, are there any public would like to speak at this time?
Anybody have anything else to say?
Well, we do have 2 people that signed in.
Those were the 2
I think
gentlemen.
those
that
were
they
the people that
spoke.
spoke to the windmills.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Oh, Al's signed up, I'm sorry, I see that now. Al Hayes,
No, he's withdraws his name.
withdrawn,
Chris spoke.
and Chris
Spoke already.
Cohan. Okay, so we're all set there, and we're done.
Well, with that, I make a recommendation for a motion for adjournment at 5 minutes of 5.
So moved.
That's how we're doing it.
Second. Well, let's see here, Mr. Haddad
Yes,
and Mr. Genowine.
Yes.
meeting adjourned.
Meeting's adjourned.
That was quick. That's the quickest meeting we've ever had. Isn't it?
Yeah, great.
That was the quickest meeting we ever had. What do you think? Except we gotta get this thing changed because Contrada's out.
They had their chance.
We don't have.